If you're talking sports, it's the matchup. Mickey Huber, Zizzy, yeah, we cutting it up. Just a couple athletic enthusiasts. You know what it is. The Mickey Zizzy Podcast. Heyo, it's the Mickey Zizzy Podcast, Season 3, Episode 35. You got Mickey over there in the background, hyping it up, getting it ready to go. Shouting out the old high school number, 35. Pretty ugly number, but we made it work. Never mind that. I am Zizzy, co-host of the Mickey Zizzy Podcast. One of the co-hosts, obviously. Already introduced Mickey back there, getting hype. But we're here. Exciting week. Super Bowl week. Super Bowl week. A session, chock full of sports vernacular. We're going to get into it. But first and foremost, of course, got to shout out the people that bring us the Mickey Zizzy Podcast in general. Shout them out. Check out pinnaclesup.com for all of your supplementation and wellness needs. They got new bundles all the time. Go ahead and check them out. Also, check out the OBL Extraordinaire, the Pickup Court Globetrotter, the Smucker Smack Talker, Grant Anderson and his YouTube channel, G for 3. Go ahead and check that out. He's a baller with a plan, man. Go check out that man. All right. Super Bowl week. Here we go. There's a lot to talk about. But before we get into that, of course, we start every episode with another type of week thing. The person of the week. What you got, Nick?
First and foremost, welcome to the Red Kingdom.
Yeah.
You know what, Mr. Yankovic? It was so exciting to root for a very good football team, and it is a huge kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs, which we both wanted to win in the end-all be-all, which we will digest fully here on the Mickey Zizzy Podcast. Yank, it has been a shocking 2 weeks of all sports, especially the two big ones we cover, that being the NBA and the NFL, and it's been absolutely electric. Sports is good. Sports just makes my soul happy. My heart is growing. Call me the Grinch, but there's nothing Grinch around these parts because the Kansas City Chiefs and the person of the week, Jacko Cochran, is a Super Bowl champion. Now, Yank, I feel like he's going to be up there for one of the most persons of the week, but you cannot not celebrate a person who just went and won a Super Bowl. He technically started the Super Bowl. He was the first person to run down on the field to start the game. Like, that's the cool thing about special teams, trying to hype out some of those things. And
you try to put that in perspective too, like the thought, like the imagery, like the actual moment of doing that. I can't even imagine.
And, I got a whole bunch of beef back at the workplace about, oh, you're a bandwagon. I'm like, no, I am only where Jack Cochran goes or Tristan works because I played with them, right? I got the plaque back there with them on it. Like, it's absolutely bonkers, and it's a huge shout out to them. Reached out to him, saying how proud I was, and just didn't have known him and be able to compete with him once upon a time. And he definitely deserves it. It's one of those good people like you deserve. All right, and a lot about his family as well, and his family is so deserving as well. So huge shout out to Jacko, the Super Bowl champion. We've had 2 Super Bowl champions on our show, Mr. Zizzy. Not many people can say that.
I think the person of the week just needs to be like whoever is affecting the water supply in Mount Vernon, Iowa. I don't know what it is, but whoever makes it to the league from Mount Vernon, Iowa, you get in a ship. First year.
The rookie year, statistically proven.
It's guaranteed.
They play. You're winning the ship.
Absolutely amazing. It ties right into the whole theme of what we're talking about. Obviously, like it is, it's Super Bowl week. It's a big thing. It was a big deal when he got moved up. He's running down first play of the game. You got him a ring, man. Got him a ring. Absolutely amazing. Shout him out and shout out everybody from the Mount Vernon community that was able to support him. Rally behind him, rally the troops, so to speak, and that's just awesome for you guys out there. I know you guys were super, super hyped. But how about those Chiefs?
We'll get into it, but let's hear your opinion.
I know, man. We'll get into it. For me, it was more so about the camaraderie around the game this time. So obviously, yeah, I'm hyped for Jack. I'm hyped for the Chiefs. I'm trying to watch that. The whole game is everything. It was a great game. We're gonna get into it. But for me, it was just about the camaraderie, having people around, and I'm a big food guy. We all know this. Big cooker. OG Grill Daddy Yankee still exists from time to time. So we did a lot of cooking, and so my person of the week this week is going to be my friend Molly. She's a coworker of mine. She actually ends up bringing like cake. I swear she's trying to get us all to gain like 20 pounds at the office. Like she brings in cake, she brings in sweets, and I got the biggest sweet tooth, man. So like I'm gonna eat it.
Isn't that
And I
toothpick?
love it. It's awesome. It's good vibes. She's been a really good addition to the team. She's only been at the company for a few months now. But it's been really nice to have her around, and she got all into the festivities and was all about it. So it was just super cool to like have that relationship grow and have another friend to have around at work. So just cool, man. Always enjoying it.
There we go. Shouting out the coworkers there, shouting out people who do make good food and to really dive into.
Tony Robbins.
There you go. Speaking of sweet tooth, isn't your tooth fake?
Oh, come on now. Really? Really? Yeah, which one though? Ain't nobody gonna know.
The left one.
Not
All
wrong.
right. Yank, we've been hinting at it, but let's talk about that Super Bowl. There is a lot to talk about, from the potential last play to the game itself, to players fighting through injuries, to legacy talk, to who was the better team. And one of the things I do want to throw out there first is Jalen Hurts did everything possible to win that football game. You threw for 300 yards, 1 touchdown, and you have 3 rushing touchdowns. That is ties the NFL record for our Super Bowl record for most rushing touchdowns in a game. And he's that dude. He is him. He is your future. He is the poster child, whatever you want to call it. He went out there and did it. And the receivers, the offensive line did it. Now, their run game was not so great, but Yank, they played the perfect game. Jalen Hurts did all that. They kept Patrick Mahomes off the field. We talk about when we play good teams, Yank, when we were in college, like the Monmouths of the world, you got to keep them off the field. Wait till that 3 seconds on the play clock. 3, 2, let's run the play, right? And they did that to perfection. But, everyone's forgetting Jalen Hurts had a really, really bad fumble. The ball slipped out of his hands. That hasn't got as much light because he did so well. All right, to kind of end my discussion, like Jalen Hurts was the main reason why they won / kind of lost. Turnover battle, right? Who had more turnovers?
Yeah.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
Who lost? The Eagles. In this case, the Eagles lost due to their turnover. So, your thoughts on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles? Let's bring up them first.
I mean, I think that any question about Jalen Hurts' ability can now be put to rest. This is the biggest stage in the NFL, the most pressure. Everybody's eyes are going to be on you. You're going against the renowned best quarterback in the league. Everybody believes that you've got the better team. Like, everybody expects you to win, regardless if you've been the underdog your whole life. This is your moment. This is his biggest moment probably since the benching at Alabama. I've heard some people talk about that, but I mean, yeah, he played well at Oklahoma. He's taken over the starting role, but this was his moment, and he showed up. He absolutely showed up. I mean, when you come up, you have the most rushing yards in Super Bowl history by a quarterback. You have the most rushing touchdowns in Super Bowl history by a quarterback. You pass for over 300 yards. You don't have an interception. You have the passing touchdown. You keep them in the game. I mean, your offense scores 35 points, and you were the reason behind 4 out of the 5 touchdowns. I mean, if not basically all 5 touchdowns, I mean, at least drove them down there every single time. God, there's not anything negative that you really have to say. I mean, yeah, there's a fumble there. It happens. That's football. But I mean, it ended up being the difference in the game at the end of the day. At the end of the day, if you were to ask me, I mean, it does. It comes down to a turnover battle. Both offenses were relatively unstoppable. But I mean, there's nothing really negative that I can take away from this game regarding Jalen Hurts. I mean, he silenced the naysayers, the doubters. You can't really say that he can't throw anymore. He's complete. The biggest development and turnaround of a throwing mechanic that I've ever seen by a quarterback, and it's very, very remarkable and impressive. So nothing but good things to say about him. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. Honestly, if anything, my only question is, did they, as a team, squander their best opportunity to win a Super Bowl?
Well, Yank, I mean,
And we don't necessarily know that yet.
some of the key points you talked about there was Jalen Hurts was on every touchdown. They did kick 2 field goals, but the 2-point conversion, they actually Jalen Hurts scored the 2-point conversion. He was the the person physically putting himself in the end zone.
I was gonna say went for it too.
Yeah, they went for it. They went and got it, and it's one of those things. I can't believe I really want to say Jalen Hurts lost in the game, but obviously it was the defense, letting a lot of those things happen as is, and I just can't put it behind saying that Hurts was the reason that they lost because he had such a good stat line. He balled out. You could tell he was a player. He was a potential for Super Bowl MVP with losing. So in all, that fumble does hurt. But you got to blame the defense. You play any other team in the NFL, Yank, the Eagles are winning a Super Bowl. I don't care who it is. Even with the 49ers, with Brock Purdy, I don't care if it's the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Eagles play that game, they win. Against Patrick Mahomes, against the Kansas City Chiefs, you got to play perfect. And they did not technically play perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with
defense
you.
Let up.
I mean, defense, you allow 35 points. You're up with you have a 10-point lead. I want to say going into halftime. Yes, so 10-point lead going into halftime. I mean, I still would say the game script over it was more impressive what the Chiefs did themselves than it's not like the Eagles just folded or completely crumpled. It was just, I mean, their defense.
Maybe their defense.
I mean, their defense just couldn't stop them. I mean, but you can say the same thing about the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs couldn't stop the Eagles either. It came down to who got the ball last, if we're being honest. It came down to that in turnovers. So, I mean, tough all the way around. But I think if you're going to put the blame on the defense, I think the one glaring stat is that this is the best defensive line in football, at least this season. And you don't get one sack on Patrick Mahomes.
Injured.
You have 4. He scrambles late in that third quarter, fourth quarter, or early in that fourth quarter, that 20-yard big time scramble on third down. I mean, that was one of the biggest plays of the game. And I mean, he's hobbled. How is he outrunning half of the defense to get that? That's one thing. But I'm just saying, to not get a sack, you have 4 players on your team that had double-digit sacks this season. 4 players, and you don't get one sack on Patrick Mahomes. There's only one thing that can disrupt the all-time greats. We've seen it with Tom Brady. You get in their face, you put them on the ground, they have a chance to make a mistake, or they're at least vulnerable. You can't give them time, man. He had time all day.
He did. No, 100%. And it was that defensive line. The Chiefs had a great rushing attack. All of their runners besides Sky Moore had over 5 yards per carry. That's bonkers. Pacheco had 75 yards and a touchdown. For him to go off for that, that's kind of scary, right? Patrick Mahomes had 44 yards. An injured, ankled Mahomes. Now, whatever they gave him at halftime must have been spectacular. Michael's secret stuff or something must have been cooking. So, you know what? I think we really just unpacked, and it was solely on the Eagles' defense. They lost them the football game. You needed one turnover. You needed one stop in that second half. They scored every single drive in the second half, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, right? Mm-hmm. That alone is crazy. I mean, it goes to the end of the game. McKinnon was about to score, and he starts to slide. If you're the defender, you still got to follow him and push him into the end zone to give your squad a chance to go down and score. You know what I'm saying? That's super high football.
I get you.
They all let him score. Why don't you go grab him and throw him into the end zone? You know what I'm saying? So, that's next level stuff. Are you thinking that? And, everyone's saying, don't touch him, let him score. Obviously, you're probably not thinking that, but once again, that was a defensive potential mistake.
I mean, yeah, but that's still, that can come down to the nitty gritty of just the tiniest of details, right? I heard people talking about this. I want to say that the example was Rob Ninkovich. He was talking about the penalty at the end of the game, which we'll get into. But I mean, it all relates into it. The other team's wearing white jerseys. You wear white gloves. It doesn't show up as much. It's not as easy to see if you do tug or grab on a defender. That's something that I'm even told to do as a defender. I'm telling you, it's the littlest of things that we will do to get an advantage. It's stuff like that you have to think through. And I mean, It
So let's
is
talk
what
about
it
it. Let's
is.
talk about it. We've talked about how great the game was, which we'll talk more about commercial, halftime show, all that. But like, was it a flag? Was it a holding? PI.
Do you want technical or do you
I
want?
want your honest answer.
Yeah, it's a hold.
Proud of you.
Oh, I mean, I can say and it's again fun when I get to like we have personal experience that we can relate to. Like defender, there's holding, there's penalties on every single play in football. There's penalties on every single play in a football game. Holding, especially for a linebacker off the line for a defensive back, we're going to grab jersey, we're going to tug, there's going to be bumping, there's going to be incidental contact. With that being said, you're in the nature of the game. You're getting beat. You're late in the game. Juju had him beat. He turns. He puts his hand on him. At the end of the game, they ask him about it. He himself says he holds him. How are we going to sit here and say he didn't hold him? Yes, he held him. Now, if we want to get into this argument about they didn't call anything the whole game, they're not in the flow of the officiating, this is one of the classics. You want to see it through. Yes, I get that. We are all disappointed. Horrible ending to an amazing game. But you can't ask a ref to not technically do his job just because of the moment. I as much as I hate to see it, and I think it was a soft call. I think it was a very soft call, especially in that circumstance when like we've been watching the game, man. There's penalties all night. They don't call one. It was the first or second holding call of the night. But if you want to be real, it's a hold.
Thank you.
That
And
is.
here's the thing about it for all those naysayers out there. We had a grid, I think every single group chat in America had the discussion if it was a hold, PI and whatnot. I saw plenty of times where the Chiefs like broke through, was on one of Jalen Hurts' long run, and the jersey was stretched by the defensive lineman, right? They didn't call it. So be it, right? And I'm never going to blame officiating on a loss, whether, if Justin Fields crosses the end zone, clearly, but, that's for another day. But like, at the end of the day, those other little things we talked about inside the game is what they got to fix. Now, let's talk about back to that penalty, right? Technically, it is a hold. And our good friend Shyamino said, like, you don't swallow the whistle because of the big moment, right? You don't let that happen. You did your job.
You're not thinking that even as the ref. Like, what? How can you
I'm not going to call
officiate a
anything
game or
here.
do your
Let's go to
job if you're thinking like, "Yo, I haven't been making those calls early in the game, so I got to let this." That's not how their mindset is. They're
no.
reading and it's read and react. That's how the game
100%. And just like you said, defenders always hold all the time. Offensive linemen, I'm sorry, they hold up every dang time.
Offensive
You
line
talk
hold
to any
every
offensive
play.
lineman, they are taught
Every
to get
play.
inside. All right. And if they start pulling, can't let go or push, right? Okay, I got beat at that point. Get your hands on inside the breastplate and let's go party. I mean, that's any single offensive lineman. Like they are taught to do that as well. You see it all the time trying to chop at it, rip moves. I mean, that's why they do it. So they try to do it all the time, and that penalty was clear. The jersey was pulled. I think the
Football's
second
not made
part,
to be
which
fair.
everyone
If you got dreads, we can pull it. Like it's not
100%
made
talk
to
to
be
Mama Teresa about
fair.
that one. She hates long hair.
Yeah.
What a hair. But when you like that second one where they kind of held him on his hip, I don't think that was necessarily the hold. I think the hold was before in the jersey.
Yes. No,
And,
the whole
and
was the whole was the beforehand. Yes, I would
exactly.
agree with that as well.
And it's just
But
all those.
again, like you said, he's wearing the dark green, dark black gloves against a white jersey. It's the little detail, and I bring that up because like Ninkovich was a Patriots player, and now it's like you see comparisons across different organizations of like just the type of detail that some of these teams look
And
at.
Yank, you and all the beef was from the people, the not like the bandwagon, it's like the people who hate greatness. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to see the Chiefs be great again. Like when Patriots like Tom Brady gets every call, Mahomes gets every call, like da 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 da. Like, no, not really. Like, let's actually look at the logistics of all of this. And according to the book, like that is a staple. He even admitted it. We talked about that. Not too much more to say about it.
That's the thing too. It's like I get the argument, but when the guy and what and hell of an like way to own it. Like that's a man's answer.
That's a
If you
man.
ever ask me, like that's a man's man. I hope he comes back and has a hell of a season next year. But I mean, when James Bradbury is standing there himself at saying, I held him. I mean, like, yeah, do I like the call? No, but I held him.
Exactly. I agree that the
What are
call
you
was
gonna say?
soft.
Like
Like, come on. Like,
that's
any
it's
football
the
fan
same
wants that.
thing we feel. Do we like the call? There's not
No,
one
it's
person watching
soft.
that game that
Yes,
liked the call. It's soft,
it is,
but
but
it was a
technically it's the
call.
right call, so I cannot get mad. Now, for
Exactly.
me, I wanted either team to win, right? I wanted Jacko. I mean, obviously, I was supporting the Chiefs jersey here, supporting Jacko, but I would have loved to have been rocking a Jalen Hurts jersey. I have a curse or something because every jersey bet I've made, I have not cashed in on it
It's
here.
so close though.
So
Every time.
next year, whoever I choose to be my Super Bowl favorite, which it may be the Bears,
Just gonna find the next kid that got drafted out of Mount Vernon, Iowa.
there you go. Sign me up. I got some
Yeah, yeah,
years for him.
yeah.
Let me run down the special things. But anyway, so that was a big thing as well, Yank. And I think we're on the same boat with it. And I know a lot of people want to disagree, but we just told you the facts. Like it is what it is. Um, and then I also saw another part, like it was a picture of McKinnon sliding. And it's like this should be hung up in every high school locker room. Like this player could have went and scored and talked about his kids and his grandkids, how he scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But instead he slid for the better of his team and to win the football game. Like just showing like it's not all about you. Like do what you need for your team to be successful. I'm like, dang, that's inspirational. You know what?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, even watching the game, like there was a couple of people that were around where I was watching, and they're just like, "Why wouldn't he score right there? Like it basically steals the game." It's like, no, like it doesn't give them the opportunity to even answer at that point. Like it's the smart play, it's the team play, and he's trying to get a ring. So you love to see little stuff like that. So little in
100%. And then the last thing about the Super Bowl, we've been having a great discussion about it, Yank, is the halftime show and the commercials. I'm going to give you my quick 1 minute recap about both of those. And the Rihanna halftime show was good. It was not one of the best. It was not one of the worst. I thought it was good. The whole platform's moving, looking like Super Smash Bros. Was awesome. I thought that was just so cool. All the dancers and whatnot, that was super cool. The songs everyone was singing to. She didn't do too much moving, which I think we all know why, or at least a lot of
we
people
know why.
speculated. Um, but like I thought it was a good halftime show. I was very like set back, like cool. Right. I'm not a huge Rihanna fan, but like her songs like Umbrella, oh yeah, you betcha I was,
Yeah,
a little hype when that song came on. So
yeah, and
I
I
did think that was
mean,
great. Give me your insight on the halftime.
I'm opposite. Like I am a huge Rihanna fan. Like I love Rihanna. So honestly, she came out. I was hype. I was telling everyone, "Shut the out!" I gotta listen to Riri. So
That's
I
what's
was really
Haley. Haley
excited
was
about it.
so
I
upset.
loved it. I thought it did well. I mean, like honestly, I was amazed that she was able to dance as well as she could for the fact that she is pregnant again. So like super, super cool for all that. But just to see her back on stage, it's been what 7 years since we've seen her perform. Just and all the bangers. She brought out all the bangers for every single one of them. And then like I'm waiting for the call outs. Like you're at the Super Bowl, right? So you're waiting for like Run This Town and all this stuff. Like, oh, so cool. Such a good one. I loved it. I thought it was
She did
great.
say she was bringing a special guest, so brought the
That's
baby.
true. That's
Um,
true. About the baby.
and then let's talk quick about the commercials and Yank hot take. I think the commercials are getting worse. Not too many
Every
too
year.
memorable ones. The Breaking Bad one, I guess, was a fan favorite at Williamsburg when I was asking all the questions. I personally liked like the Pepsi commercials were actually pretty good. Doritos was pretty good with the Jack Harlow triangle one.
The
Um,
triangle one was good,
a lot of
actually.
people love the 2B one where like thanks for tuning in the Super Bowl. I'm like, okay, this is not the real broadcast, and like it switched your channel on 2B to
Oh, I was gonna see that was gonna be the one that I brought up. I was gonna say, like it's not necessarily that it was fun, but like it got everyone talking
they
and
got
it
everyone.
got me too.
Where's the
Like I'm
remote?
not gonna sit there and say where I was like stopping and be like, who changed the channel? But like I definitely like looked up and like looked around like what the heck? And then went back to normal and I was like, oh my God, that was a commercial. That was well done. That was well done.
Yeah, and then the guac one was kind of crazy. You're like, oh, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
okay.
Questionable, but it was also one of those things too. I'm like, I wanted to like check my phone or like go to the bathroom, go get more food, and I'm like, Wait, it's the commercials. I can't leave. Like, let's
Yeah,
go.
right.
Um,
Yeah, but it
definitely
is
down.
like I don't know. There's maybe we got to go into advertising or something, spice it up a
Sign us
little
up.
bit.
We'll make our own $7
Yeah,
billion
spice it up a little
to
bit.
get 30 seconds about the Mickey Zizzy podcast. Um, no, I just missed the really good ones, like the Stallion Horses of Budweiser, right? The keep your hands off my mama, keep your hands off my
Yeah,
Doritos. Like that
yeah,
one, that commercial sits so deep in my brain when I talk Super Bowl commercials. Like Puppy Monkey Baby, remember Mountain
yeah,
Dew?
yeah. Dude, I get you.
And
I
that they
mean,
missed
I
an
was I
opportunity.
was
State
hyped when
Farm.
I saw them officially. I know they had mentioned it. I think they had done maybe one commercial since, but like they did officially bring the E-Tray baby back. That was pretty
Yes.
cool. I did see that one,
Bunch
but
of them, right? Wasn't that like
yeah,
the wedding baby?
yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. No, all in good and fun. Super Bowl was amazing. It was sheer super.
It
Uh,
really was. I
and it
mean,
brought
what
up
a
a lot of
game.
debates. I mean, it
Yeah.
it was just a fantastic game. Everyone loves points. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, anything else about the Super
Love the
Bowl, Yank?
over.
Yeah, the over club did hit. Anything else?
No, I think
Let's
that about covers it for the most part. You
No,
hype?
let's move on to our next segment then, and that being we were gonna record, but you know what? Life does get tough, and that's why we're back. We are getting to more consistent, y'all. All right, we're even grinding on Valentine's Day. Come on now, love each other. Everyone love each other. Go tell a loved one that you love them. All right, this is
Everybody, love
shout outs to
everybody.
all those people. Just go show some people some love. But
Yeah.
Yank, do you know what happened the Sunday before? The NFC wins the Pro Bowl. So I
A
should be
comeback.
expecting in the mail a Tristan Wirfs Pro Bowl T-shirt. I'll be expecting it in the mail. Remember that bet did go down for everyone listening.
Yes, no, I
I
do
would have got
remember
him a
that one.
Tyreek one, but instead I'm getting a
Did
Tristan Wirfs, which
indeed.
he had a beautiful toss in the water bottle or the water balloon toss, and Demarcus Ware went, or yeah, hard hands,
Clapped it.
clapped it,
Absolutely
just
clapped it.
pushed it. You got to have those soft hands. And Tristan had a beautiful catch. He was the first one to catch it actually for the NFC.
Well, Tristan was giving him that look like, come on, man. Like I was gonna take us to the top. Like
He
we were
really
going.
was. And he was
Yeah.
going to catch 5 of those out of the jugs machine. But overall, let's talk about the weekend of the Pro Bowl. The dodgeball is still great. The catches was actually pretty good. Like the whole adding the trampoline, like catching through smoke. I thought they did well. The double catch.
I thought it was good. I mean, I just think that we can still. I don't
What
know if
about
it's that
the
we would spice it up or
what
like.
about the one where they recorded it before? Remember the like day before and they're doing like the one hand off the Eiffel. I know
Yeah,
JJ did that.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know which I would prefer, if there's like how I would prefer them to do it. I think there's still ways to spice it up, make it better.
How?
I like the idea though. I like the
More
idea.
props is always my solution.
That's what you always say. You say that for the NBA too.
I'll bring it up because dunk contest was just trash this year, by the way. We'll talk about that another day. But more props for me on that. I still think it's great. I still like it. I mean, obviously they're dropping a little bit more, which it is more challenging to catch a ball, but than like to dunk. And on the flip side of it, the I do love the energy that comes from it. Now, the whole the games before, like the water balloon toss, the jugs machine, those little mini games I thought were awesome. Move the chains, that was dope. Linemen throwing off the weights, pulling, like that's fun stuff that's not going to get the people hurt. And I know they didn't participate that much in Pro Bowl, but you're not going to participate anyway, Yank. You know what I'm saying? Like now everyone's healthy. They all got together to celebrate. They did things that we don't see athletes do. I personally really liked it. Well, on the flip side, a lot of people didn't. What'd you like? What's your feelings towards it?
I mean, I mean, to me, it was kind of like I took it as like the guinea pig year, which it is. I mean, it's the first year that they're doing it this way. And I'm not saying, I'm pretty sure they're like fully committed to it. I don't see it going back to normal at this point, just for the sake of the injuries, the thoughts of the players going into the next season and stuff like that. Um, I mean, I love the events. Don't get me wrong. Some of them I think could definitely be switched out. It's just like I'm not sure,
Water
like
balloon toss
yeah,
good.
like I'm not sure like why some of the events were done, but at the same time, like Like it's like, did we need to see them hitting a golf ball? No, but it was still cool to watch them, I guess, hit a golf ball. So I mean, just like random stuff and certain things that could probably still be tweaked and changed about it. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I think we got a higher level of competition than what we have seen in the actual Pro Bowl, like the last 10 years or so. Um, I don't know. It's still part of me just still will forever think of like the Sean Taylors coming across the middle in AFC versus NFC like full speed. And part of me just wants to see, like, even for the NBA still, like the NBA did a great job of how they do the fourth quarter thing
Yeah,
where
fourth
just
quarter
it's a
is
target
first
score.
one
Yeah.
is yeah.
Target score, first one to Kobe. And then they really go at it for at least a quarter.
And
And we
that's all
get to
you
see
want.
some really high level football. Yeah, yeah. We get to see some really high level basketball. And nobody's necessarily going to have as high of a risk of getting hurt because it's one quarter that they're doing it. I don't know how they would do it, but there's got to be a way still to spice this up, make it more, get the competitive juices flowing a little bit more. I love the camaraderie. I love being able to see the guys' faces. We don't get to
And
see
like
all
hearing
that.
the play calls, and even
Yeah,
Jamie
like we
got
don't
so
get to
upset. He's
see
like,
all
"You
that.
can't do this."
Yeah. You get to see their react. I mean, we're seeing some of these guys are using it like it's a pro day, man. Derek Carr's out there auditioning for people at this thing.
He put
So
on a
yeah,
clinic, by
put
the way,
on a
in the
clinic
quarterback
there.
challenge.
So, and it's cool seeing them interact with some of the all-time greats. Like Vic was out there, the Mannings are out there, all of them. That's all cool. I part of me
Hey,
still wants to
that's
see a
what the Pro Bowl's got
super
to be now.
fiery
We don't need
game.
that fiery competition. We can do it in other ways. I still thought the flag football game was plenty of
No, I
competition.
mean it was still good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun.
But that's the thing. I mean, they're going to be more healthy. I would rather see that, like them interacting and everything.
Okay, so
That
is
side. But
there a
these
way to
kids,
spice that up? Is there a way to maybe make? I know it was NFC versus AFC, but do
oh, do you do an
they
all-star draft?
well, not even just that, but like they obviously have the numbers, so break them up into a few different, like two teams or three teams on each side, and
Yeah.
do a mini flag football tournament.
Tournament? Yank. You know what? NFL, you better sign us real quick because I got more ideas for it, Yank. That's a beautiful idea. You're telling you have your Peyton and your Eli, then put Mike, Vick, and Ray Lewis. Like just have your entire team do smaller teams so you get to see more competition instead of like one quarter of someone. And then you can get the linemen in on it too, like more centers, more like an offensive tackle snapping the ball. Like, sorry, that's what you got to deal with because that's who your team drafted. And then you still would have NFC winning because it'd be,
I
AFC
mean,
would
it's not
play
like these big guys ain't out there. We saw some of these fullbacks balling,
Jews from San
Deuce.
Francisco. Yeah, Juice a check. However you say his name. But yeah, that's a beautiful idea if you really think about it. I think they do this in the Rising Stars game. They do this format. They have 3 to 4 Hall of Fame players be the coaches. In the NFL, you still can have your AFC versus NFC, but like who's the best AFC squad? Right now you have an extra game, right? That means more because they want to participate in the finals, like the finale.
Yeah.
And like it gets to see AFC versus AFC.
And I mean, we've got 22 players minimum on each side of the ball, plus your reserves. So I'm saying you can break each side up into 4 to 6 teams.
And all you need is you can go one quarterback, 4 receivers, one quarterback, 5. Like you don't need the quote unquote 7-on-7. Now, Yank, I also think they do need to play some of the mini games. I love the move the chains, but like for the offensive linemen, instead of doing the water balloon toss, like have a sled race, legit put on like a certain amount of weight and have 2 dudes push a sled 10 yards the fastest, like on a clock.
Yeah.
Like,
Or I mean, even going back to like the old days when they were doing the 225 bench press competition, like for some reason that was like super hyped to watch back in the day.
Or the fastest kickback in a pass set, like just time it.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I would get
like
so hyped for that.
10 seconds.
I get so for the shuffle.
Right? So you have the pass block, the run block. You have your own little like offensive lineman Olympics for NFC versus AFC receivers and whatnot. You could have a certain amount of cones that you have to go touch. And like we just want to see these freak athletes do freak things that we typically do. right? I still pass that in the weight room. I'm pass setting sometimes. I don't know why. I mean, I have 2 knee braces now.
Tristan Wirfs can jump out of a pool on the side. Like I'm just saying, like these guys can do crazy things.
Pool basketball game. There you go. Just boom, jam it on each other.
Just straight crams only.
Shooting threes, no. But like those are just ideas. NFL, sign us up. We can definitely give you all these ideas to like make it better. But I still think this is the direction it needs to go in. I love seeing the players in this. I feel like they're more personable at this point. Like seeing that game is just not it anymore. So I do like the direction that they took.
Well, I mean, I can agree from the standpoint of I don't think it was going to be able to be fixed any other way. So I'll take it. Again, just things there that can still be done to spice it up. But yeah, I mean, overall, pretty solid.
Amen. Now, football was so shocking and awesome and amazing, but Yank, right across the pond, the NBA was making monumental moves. Plus, monumental stat lines, or should I say records. We have a ton of trade talk. But I know you want to bring light to this conversation, so I got to let you speak your piece.
Let's talk about I mean, I can't bring too much light because if we get into it, it'll start a whole other debate.
We'll dabble. We'll sprinkle about it.
We'll sprinkle a little bit. But again, we love to give people their flowers when they deserve it. Everybody knows that I absolutely love to watch LeBron James as a player. He's one of my favorite players, and not one of mine. He's my favorite player. But no, for him to go out and break the all-time scoring record, that's one of the biggest records, if not the biggest individual record in sports. I would say you got that one, and I don't know, you got. I mean, I don't think the passing touchdown record is heralded like that. Maybe the single season home run record. Maybe. Outside of that, I don't know. This is probably top for individual records. I think it's incredible that he's been able to be this good, this proficient for this long. That's a testament to his legacy. That's probably going to be his biggest thing, is just the fact that he has done this for, I mean, technically has a chance to go do it for 3 decades if he really wants to. So we'll see what happens. But on it, just a testament to the king, record that not many people ever thought would be broken. Pretty damn cool.
Mr. Yankovic, it is a historical stat, no doubt. I was so happy I could witness the history of LeBron James breaking that record. Do I think his record will get broke? You betcha, if we have another healthy individual, because we have scores now. This league is full of scorers. Back in the day, you did not. Now, I understand LeBron has less games. That's those LeBron fans out there. They're like, oh, he did it in less games. Well, Kareem took 1 3-pointer. LeBron, not a terrible 3-point shooter. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't, but he still has a ton more 3-pointers. So, obviously, 3 is more than 2. I'm not going to.
I don't think that. I don't think that. What are you saying?
I'm not going to discredit that from his from the legacy talk. This is why he's the second best player of all time, right? He has these monumental stats. I personally think it might get broken if other people stay healthy and consistent like he did. If someone even averaged 25 and played as long as him, because of the technology and sciences we have to make NBA athletes last longer, how we make NFL athletes last longer. Okay, you see athletes being able to perform for at an older age because of everything. You talk about the TB12 method. You brought up Tom Brady, right? He had the career passing touchdowns in the NFL because he played for so long, right? Because he balled out.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, when an all-time record, you got to have longevity. I mean, Kareem was around for a really long time, too. So I get that. That's definitely part of it.
We're going to talk about the LeBron thing. Like, oh, he has more points. He has the record now. Well, Russell Westbrook has more points than Steph Curry in his career. Does that make Westbrook better than Steph Curry? Heck no. All right. So, I mean, we always talk about stats. You know, I'm one of the biggest stats guys out there. This does help him. It's going to put him head and shoulders. He's definitely top 2. And people who say he's not top 2, you're dumb. All right. I would love to debate the Michael, but if you're saying he's below that, you're dumb. Get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is greatness. And do I think it was a little obnoxious that they stopped the entire game? Yes, but no. I kind of liked it. Like it's legendary. Kareem
It really it's been there for 40 years, man.
Yeah.
Like it's been around for a really, really long time. This is one of those records that, like you said, like people really thought that they would never see it get broken. And I know you're saying, like, is
I
the
think it
possibility
will.
there? The possibility
Luca
is
or
always,
Steph.
well, I said the possibility is always there. For me though, it's like, is anybody going to play that long? Is anybody, like, because I think of a Luca, like he's starting as young as he did, gonna average possibly more points over his career, just like, but is he gonna stay healthy? My bet would be no, but it's just, you never know. He's an anomaly when it comes to that, but still can't let it take away from much. It's an astounding record. I don't think that it necessarily should really change the GOAT conversation. I feel like that has already kind of been
It helps,
written
but
going into this.
it's
But
not.
obviously, like, yeah, obviously it helps. And that's a whole nother thing that we'll get into, I'm sure, another night. But I mean, his legacy is stapled. The fact that he is the all-time leading scorer and in the top 5 for assists and in the top 10 for or will be in the top 10 for rebounds. I mean, it's a testament to what the guy can do. I can start to maybe say, when we talk about like the whole MJ LeBron thing, like MJ would have the greatest peak ever, right? Like that 6-year stretch.
Okay, yes.
Like I could give him that greatest peak ever, 6-0 in the finals. You, like, when he was at the pinnacle, there was no touching Michael Jordan. But LeBron James is the best basketball player we've ever seen. Like, just all around best, not the greatest, because there is a difference between greatest and best. I hate trying to like make that definition, but just all around skill, the guy can truly do everything. And it's been remarkable to see, like, the fact that we don't look at him as a scorer first, and he's the leading scorer all time.
LeBron you do think of him as a scorer. Did you just say that?
I don't think of him as a scorer first. He's a pass first player. He's always been a pass first player.
Yeah, because when it comes down to the final shot, he passes. He puts up 27.
Are you really gonna try and say LeBron's not a pass first player?
A scorer. He scores the basketball. He is a scorer.
I never said he can't
27.
score. I'm saying people don't think of him as a scorer first, typically.
Yes,
no, they don't. No, you're wrong.
Record shows it. Scoring 27 a game.
No, I love it. No, I think he's an amazing scorer. He's the leading all-time scorer. But people think of him as a pass-first player. He's a basketball IQ playmaker. That's what he is.
Okay, yes. Playmaker. IQ is very, very high. Now let's talk about some of those stats you were saying. Top 10. There's no other current NBA player, but if we top 15, Kevin Durant is 14th. Now, KD, I feel like, has a few more major injuries. That's not going to let him stay out as long. LeBron's haven't been as need surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the Achilles.
LeBron's a unicorn. I mean, his ankles
just
doesn't
get when he gets
man.
hurt. It's not these major injuries. You're out for 4 months, okay, but like not serious. So I think Kevin Durant, as much as I want to say he'll go touch or get close, I see him maybe getting 32K, passing Jordan, late in his career. But then you talk about assists, right? Yes, LeBron is 4th all time, 5,000 behind John Stockton. Russell Westbrook's 10th, Yank. All right, Russell Westbrook is, granted, 1,300 behind. Okay, so I mean, do you really give this assist thing to LeBron? Is it just because he plays with phenomenal players?
What?
Dwayne Wade, amazing scorer. You pass him the rock, easy buckets.
What argument are you trying to conjure up today? Give the man his flowers.
The assists come when you have some of the best players of all time on your basketball team. Dwayne Wade.
You played with him for 4 years. He's been in the league for 20 years, dude.
Okay, so 4, that's 1/5. Okay, what about Kyrie? How many years you played with Kyrie? What, 4? Okay, we're getting close to half of his career playing with some pretty darn good all-stars.
Dude.
Okay. You played with the second best shooter
Mickey,
of all
stop
time.
reaching, bud.
I am not reaching.
You're reaching.
The only thing I'm reaching is for the correct answer because I know I'm right. But anyway, we're not going to get, we're kind of going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you're trying to bring out the argument that we're not getting into.
I know, but I'm correct. Like,
You're not. He's a pass first
you
player.
have some of the best scorers.
Everybody play.
When what?
Everybody plays with great players. All the greats play with great players.
Agree to disagree. All the greats. Who has Luka played with that's been so great, right? Granted, we're not saying he's a great, but
he's been in the league for 4 years, man. God.
I know.
Come on.
But you know what I'm saying? No. Points record was awesome. Speaking of the Lakers, we'll get into more debate this summer. Don't worry about it when we're running a little low on the debate topics.
Need some fire.
Speaking of that Lakers, they did trade Russell Westbrook. Brought him up. Let's start our trade talk, NBA trade talk about those Lakers. Now, Yank, we might start arguing again, but I think it was a very, very bad trade. I do not agree with it. Now, I understand Russell Westbrook is not too much of a scorer, but they went and got D'Angelo Russell's back, the big three. D'Lo averages 1.5 more points than Westbrook. He averages, I think, 3 less assists per game. I think more than that. Excuse me, I'm pulling up the exact stat. And then Russell Westbrook had more rebounds. D'Lo shoots 5% better from the field. Do you really think you got this crazy better player? No, maybe those role players, Vanderbilt, might come in defensively. I know a lot of people have been saying that. But, like, come on now, Yank. You had the 9th leading assist person in the NBA, Russell Westbrook, and you traded him away. In my grand scheme of things, I think the Lakers got worse from this trade.
I disagree there. I don't think that, like, obviously, people love to overreact in general when it comes to sports topics. Like, I wouldn't sit there and say, like, oh my God, like they're a title contender all of a sudden. Like,
some people thought that and they're dumb.
Great. Yeah, people have been sitting there and saying that. I think that's way too far to, but you can't put that out there. But I do think they get better. And it's not that, like, obviously Russell Westbrook was their leading guy off the bench this year. He was a big boost for that second unit. Yes, he brought pretty decent energy. And he did have his games where he was still scoring high 20s, still had games of good production. But I want to say there's definitely been times this year where a lot of late game situations, he has not made the correct play. There's been a lot of times where, like, shooting is just the overall nemesis for this team, right? Just in general, across the board. He doesn't help in that remark. I mean, it's not that he can't do other things. I think your assistant and everything that you brought up is also correct. Like, you do lose that, but you have LeBron James, who will be the point guard, and he's going to handle the ball 90% of the time, so that's fine. But to have Malik Beasley and D'Angelo Russell, who on average together average 16 threes a game that they take, you now put shooters around someone like LeBron, which is the recipe for how he's gotten to the finals his whole career. That's the only. Wait,
so he had good scores around him. That's why he has so many assists.
Yeah, because he passes to open shooters. Yes. Good job. That's how everyone gets assists, Mickey. But I'm just saying like, for him to have more shooters around him, for them to pick up Vanderbilt. He's not an offensive threat at all, but he is great on defense, and that'll help bolster that back end. Because I mean, Westbrook is good on defense, so you do lose that. But now you have somebody else to help bolster that. I think it helps them with their depth. Just overall, they can spread the floor a little bit more. They don't have to attack the paint. They do have 2 people that can get hot from 3 at any point now. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's anything tremendous, but I do think they get better.
The 3-point, yes, I cannot disregard that as well. They also did go get Mo Bamba as well. I think that was a huge pickup for them because Mo Bamba, I think, is still sneaky good. And Dennis Schroeder, is he going to be your next point guard? If LeBron's not passing it, bringing it up, he's out, this or that. You know what I'm saying?
See, I mean, it seems that way.
Strictly become a catch and shoot guy, like Malik Beasley, this catch and shoot guy or shot creator for the 3. If you say that aspect and they're on this team now to only shoot 3s, then yes, they got better. The overall play and all aspects of a basketball game, not so much. But I'll give you the if that's what
I want to see. Yeah, I'd want to see them. I guess I'd have to see them play because I don't know how it's going to affect their defense. That's the other thing too is this whole Russell thing, right? It's been over this Lakers team forever, basically since he's got there. As far as like, is it going to work? Is there drama? Yeah, like I don't know. To me, it has felt like constant drama, constant things that are going on, whether they say the right things or not at the podium. There's been talk about Russell Westbrook and Darvin Ham getting into a heated exchange during halftime that last game when LeBron broke the record, and like that was the last game Russell played for them. He was traded 2 days later. I don't know. There could have also been, we aren't in the locker room, so we don't know if there is some type of locker room dysfunction that we don't know about that pertains to Russell Westbrook, then that also completely changes the perception of the trade. Like you got to get rid of that, of a person that is a cancer to the locker room or is an issue in the locker room. I'm not saying that Russell Wilson is a cancer, but at least whatever was going on in LA, it wasn't working.
I mean, obviously it wasn't working. They're one of the worst teams in the NBA. We saw that last year as well. We thought this would really click. All these major big 3s have really not been what we thought they'd have to be. We've seen the Superman. We've talked about this in previous episodes of the Superman, the Batman, and the Robin, right? It's been a 2-person league with great role players. And we've been seeing some of these huge mega teams, right, that didn't play all year, like play together, etc. And I mean, I'm looking at some of the Lakers stats right now, and Malik Beasley was the leading scorer when they played Portland with 22 points, and Anthony Davis had 20. I know LeBron's been out nursing an injury. So, I mean, if they come on strictly for scoring and shooting 3s, then they got better at the end all be all. We really unpackaged it, and at the end of the day,
I truly think it's
when you got a
just
good vibe. When you got a good vibe with each other off the court, like that's why the Warriors were so dynamic. They all loved each other. They all treated like a brotherhood, you know, and that's that. Like there was no locker room debacle. So, yeah, I mean, in that aspect as well, if in the locker room, if him and Ham are getting arguments, like, yeah, get rid of them.
Yeah, no, definitely a lot going on and a lot of movement for the Lakers over the last few days. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but pretty interesting. And then you were talking about super team errors. So, I mean, that kind of takes us to the next team that we're breaking down.
Let's talk about those Nets. They are the worst franchise in the history of franchises. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, Mr. Zizzy. They are awful. They just got left with Ben Simmons, like sitting there who cannot score a basketball. But Kyrie's gone, James Harden's gone, and KD. It feels like yesterday we saw that trade and we're like, how many ships are they going to win? But what people don't understand is they only played 16 games together, Yank. James Harden was balling, actually, and the one finals that they had the playoff series against the Bucks where KD's foot was on the line legit changed everything because then all the stories came out. The big 3 can't do it, which Giannis just went off, and like they were a size lower in shoes from going to the NBA Finals. So all that combined, the things that I just said was really why the Nets fell apart. James Harden wanted out the next year, right? They fired Steve Nash. Steve Nash had to deal with all these huge heads who really needed the basketball for a team to be successful. KD, I think, can play with anyone. We saw that at Golden State. I don't think it's KD's problem. I think it's everyone else. Because guess what? COVID came, and could Kyrie Irving play? No, he couldn't. So it was James Harden and Kevin Durant playing with each other, and that really didn't work out. James Harden wanted out. Kyrie slowly comes back, really not meshing, not going. Then he leaves. It just wasn't a good vibe in Brooklyn because Brooklyn didn't treat Kyrie the way he needed to be treated, right? The whole COVID thing, the whole this and that, making all these
Well, yeah,
comments.
I mean, people want to feel like they belong or that they're wanted somewhere, and whether yeah, I mean, obviously, we can all be the judge of whether or not like those people need to be coddled in every which way. But like, I mean, I don't think that Kyrie asked for a crazy amount of things other than much for like mutual respect to fear. I would never say that Kyrie dogged the Nets or dogged the
Not
franchise. I
so
mean,
much. I mean, Steve
yeah,
Nash,
I
I know
mean,
everyone did.
yeah, I would say like it wasn't pretty at all times. No, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I'm with it. To me, this is the biggest. I don't know if it's the biggest letdown because I still remember when they did the whole Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Kobe in LA thing. I remember
No,
like some
this
of
is
the,
way bigger than that.
it probably is,
Dwight was more on the
but this
decline.
is definitely up there for one of the biggest upset,
They're
like
gonna write a 30 ESPN 30 for
letdowns.
30 about this.
Yeah, one of the biggest letdowns, like biggest teams that never was that we've ever seen. And it goes even just from the standpoint that you said, like the big three was brought together. They were technically together for 3 years and only played 16 games together. Like that is ungodly as the owner, the GM of that organization, to know like the money, the effort, and everything that went into that, and to know the yield that you got back from your investment. Woo, that one hurts. Now don't get me wrong, we've seen some Cam Thomas highlights and some they've got some good role players and pieces on the team now, so it's not like they're a bad team, but
No,
they
they're
ain't
bad.
going for no championship. But they ain't going for no championship.
Give you the playing tournament, give you an 8th seed, maybe stealing one game in the NBA playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. So
Now they did get
get that.
Spencer Dinwiddie. The Nets did. Dorian Smith, blah, not Smith Schuster, Finney Smith. First round draft pick and 2 seconds. So like, they really didn't get that much for Kyrie. Mavs, Jank. Let's talk about the Kyrie.
Let's talk about where they went. Where they go.
The Mavericks, I feel, are going, and we saw this actually last night when they played somebody, I forget exactly who I was watching it. Timberwolves. Yes, it was the Timberwolves. Sorry. You're going to have to outscore them because they're not going to play a lick of defense. All right. You're going to have to outscore Luka and Kyrie. And we saw that, but they both had 30 and they both wanted, they're vibing with each other, which is great. Is this going to be the key to success to win an NBA championship? No. And it's crazy for me to actually feel that and say that when you have Kyrie and Luka together. Like, I feel like that's championship or nothing. But the other role players around it, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks are winning an NBA title with Kyrie. Does it win you a series a little bit more handily? You betcha. Could I see them going to Western Conference Finals? Yes. Finals? No. That West, and we're going to get into it, is way too stacked. West is best this year.
The West is wide open, if you ask me.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It is wide open.
Fourth place through 13th place is separated by like 4 games. How's that not wide open?
That means as tight as can all be. Wide open.
That's what I mean by wide open. Like anybody could win. Anybody could win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting what you're saying. I'm thinking wide open, like, it's a wide open shot to the ship. Like, here we go.
Oh, yeah,
the Bucks
no.
and Celtics,
It's
wide open.
Like, I have no idea who's winning the West. I have no idea.
Okay. Same.
But when we talk about the Mavericks, I think I still disagree slightly there too. Not much, because I do think their defense got worse. Like that's a given. You can't trade away those pieces. Go get Kyrie and expect your defense to be better. No, the defense is going to be non-existent. They're going to allow 120 points a game. But as I'm starting to believe across almost all sports, better offense is going to beat good defense every single day of the week. And they are that good on offense. Like I've watched, and this is still with Kyrie getting used to the offense, but through 2 games, they have had moments where they look flawless on offense. Like they look very, very strong when it comes to ball movement, when it comes to them interacting with each other. What are you saying?
Do you not think the Suns are going to look flawless at times?
Well, I'm not taking. We're gonna get to that. But I'm just saying, like, you're talking about the Western Conference final, like They went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and they only had Luka. They didn't have really anybody else. I mean, you can. I know they have Hardaway, they have the role players around. They still have those guys, but now you got Kyrie too. I could easily still see them making a push to go to the WCF again. And then when you're in that moment, I
WCF,
mean,
not
I can see them going there. And then, I mean, once you're there, you got Kyrie and Luca and you got a chance. So I can't doubt that. I actually think they do get better from this because they've sold out on the defensive front and they've already proven that they can win enough to get like they're at the precipice of being in the finals last year. They know they can do it. This makes their offense better. They give up defense to go do it. I'm okay with
Yank,
it.
but at the end of the day, you're going to face some of these big time foes. The Jokic, who's going to guard Jokic? You're going to have Max Kleber get out there, which that's the good thing about that Mavs as well. I mean, they do have Reggie Bullock, Kleber, and someone who can kind of shoot the three, right? Okay, you're going to have Dwight Powell though guard Jokic. You're going to have him guard DeAndre.
Well, I mean, you're going to have mismatches. They're going to allow 120 a game. They will.
They will. And so that's what it's going to come down to is can they do that for a 7-game series?
Is it championship sustaining? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say you should rely on that. But they do have the talent on
if
offense
they
to
stay
at least
healthy.
match it.
Hear me out. If they stay healthy and another team has injuries, one big time player goes down. Oh yeah, like they are going to be very close to teams, but I do not see them winning anything outside of the Western Conference Finals because how stacked the West is. Because I mean the West, I mean we can talk about it real quick, right? You have the Suns, you have the Clippers who they're gonna lock you down, especially if Kawhi is healthy. The Warriors are all
He's looking
offense.
better and better.
That would be a scary matchup. You don't want to face against the Warriors, and they're the 9th seed right now. And if say the Mavs,
They starting to look like play again.
Exactly. Like you don't want to see that because guess what? They are you. They've built the dynasty. Granted, they had a little bit more defense involved and better shooters, in my opinion. But like those teams, the Grizzlies, like they're tenacious, they're young, they show defense. Good luck scoring. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they also can score the basketball as well. So I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough, dude. And I mean, now, if anything, I would say, like you said, the balance of power maybe shifts a little bit towards Phoenix's direction compared to anybody else in the West, just because we've seen this before, right? Like, I don't know if it's KD's MO. I don't know. But he's going to go to the good team, okay? He's going to go to the good team and be a part of some big 3 or big 4 somewhere. So,
Mr.
We saw with the Warriors, it was scary. I mean, you're going to give him CP3, like the best point guard of our generation, and then have Devin Booker, who's just, I mean, stone cold. He's got the mini Mamba mentality type of thing. Like that's a mean 3, man. That's a mean 3, and he's still got Ayton down low.
Yank, you did a perfect transition into the team that might win the NBA championship unless my Boston Celtics can really pull it off. My team coming out of the West is the Suns, and it's oblivious if you do not think that they are. Kevin Durant did it again, right? It's one of those things like, oh my goodness, history does repeat itself. Yes, he went to possibly one of the best situations possible because CP3 no longer has to score the basketball. You know what one of his stat lines is going to be in the playoffs? 6 points, 23 assists.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to score because now you have Kevin Durant, one of the most proficient scorers in the NBA history, right? We talked about him being top 15. So that alone, KD is ring chasing. He wants to go fight for championships. The Nets have not been it. They tried to do that, but those guys are more head cases. Not like head cases in like a bad thing, but they're more in their career where they're not as focused on it, right? Booker's 26, Yank. He's still hunting for that championship. They went to the NBA Finals versus the Bucks in 2019, right? They low-key got that championship pedigree, right? They also have DeAndre Ayton, who is 24. He's going to be the guy getting boards. Does Ayton have to score anymore? I mean, not necessarily. You got D-Block and KD, right? But can he? You betcha. He comes up in big games, okay? And then they also went and got TJ Warren, like, in that trade to come with. TJ Warren can
bubble TJ Warren.
Bubble TJ Warren. If he shows 1 outspurt of that in a playoff series, like there you go. You have these guys who can kind of go off like the Kleber when I was talking to Maxi Kleber about the Mavs, right? Of TJ Warren, you know, they kind of match up. And at the end of the day, Yank, I just got to ask you. I'm making a jersey bet for the Suns, and I can't believe I'm saying that going against my Celtics. But like, if it happens to be, this would be the team I'm betting on. So I mean, you name the player on the Suns right now, and I'm getting the jersey for if this win the Suns. I pulled the jersey bet for Jay Crowder back in 2019. I think it was one of the most inaugural.
If you're gonna do jersey bet on the Suns this year, I think you
Right.
gotta go point guard.
Oh, CP3, I love it.
I think you gotta go point guard.
I was thinking KD, but CP3, boom.
Well, KD, yeah, but I don't know, man. Something irks me about KD going to these good teams again. Like again, bro.
Let's
Again.
get CP3 a ring. I like that. So CP3
Yeah.
jersey bet for Mickey here on the Mickey's podcast. We do this a lot, but let's see if the curse continues. Because
Yeah, right.
in all grand scheme,
CP3 gonna be so mad at you, bro.
he's coming for you. Mickey's Easy Podcast. No, Yank, but the Suns are so scary. I don't see how they can lose. I don't think Kevin Durant has debuted yet in Phoenix.
No, yeah.
So when he does, though, like I want front tickets to my couch to watch that game. Because if you look at they won their past 2 games, and guess what? Booker had 32. All right. That'll do. 8 in the game before had 22. So the dudes are scoring right now.
I think they were saying that he was planning to come back after the All-Star break.
After the All-Star break, which is going to be fun. We'll talk about that next episode probably. But Yank, the Suns are scary. They're I'm still protecting the Celtics because the Celtics have a very well put together roster and we're staying healthy, peaking, and we're just the best team in the East. Even tonight, they lost to the Bucks, and we didn't have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford. We lost in overtime to the Bucks. I'll take that, Yank. Our backups are balling. So my thing is still the Celtics, but don't get me wrong. But, we got to root for the West if, I cry my sorrows away.
I mean, you're not wrong to root for your C's this season, too. I mean, they've looked top of the class as far as the Eastern Conference goes. So it's,
So last question. Yank, do the Suns pull it off? Do you think they have the best chance? Because, that's what I'm solely on.
I mean, let me watch them play, but I would say yes. I would say that they have to be the odds-on favorite to win the West at this point.
And Yank, it's still tough. You got the Nuggets.
You're talking about a starting 5 being CP3, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Torrey Craig, and DeAndre Ayton. That's intense, man.
Oh, TJ Warren coming off the bench.
Yeah, TJ Warren wouldn't even be a starter.
No. But the West is so tough because the Clippers Kawhi wouldn't win a championship pretty much by himself. Pascal Siakam was not that good. Fred VanVleet, Pelicans, if Zion just pops off for a series, okay. The West is so tough. So
the Pelicans, the only issue with them is just they are. I believe that they could be that great too, but Zion just can't stay healthy, man.
He really can't. Now, Yank, sports are just so fun. We are at the pinnacle of sports.
No more football, man. What are we doing?
Yank, we got the XFL this Sunday. Shout out to Bravo.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true.
So I will be watching some XFL just to kind of keep my Sunday still busy. But it's March Madness is coming up.
Let's go O-Town.
Basketball, remember when football ends, it's okay. We got a pot of gold.
It's always okay. Sports are year round. It's just you do have that realization. No NFL, no NCAA football.
I need my basketball time though. In my opinion, okay.
Hey, March Madness is coming. The Mickey Zizzy tournament is coming.
After the March Madness and NBA Finals, then it's football. Then it's give me football back. But no, Yank, it's been an outstanding episode per usual. Y'all, please reach out. We love to have you on the Mickey Zizzy podcast. We love to debate anything that you would like to debate. Also, if you want your business or your side hustle to be sponsored, let us know. We always like to try to shout out all y'all. Right? I'm trying to get a big old sign above here, Yank. So and so, room, you know what I'm saying? Or a big old sponsor sign,
with the little link attached, we're just out here.
Great ideas, right? The studio, right? This is the Hy-Vee studio, sponsored by Hy-Vee. Hopeful smile. No free ads, dang-gummit. Come on now. No, but all seriousness, sports is an all-time high. And the Mickey Z podcast always got you covered.
Absolutely. You know what we're doing. And if we're talking sports, just the matchup, Mickey here with Zizzy. Yeah, we cutting it up. Just a couple athletic enthusiasts. You know what it is. The Mickey Zizzy podcast. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.